Van Halen and KISS, what was your exposure to them? Was that through the radio, or was it magazine? You see a photograph in a magazine, perhaps?
Here it is. It's one of the greatest. My oldest brother Mike and his girlfriend at the time, Marianne, who's now my sister-in-law, I've known pretty much since I was 7 years old. So it was 1978. I was over by her house, the other side of Paramus, New Jersey, where I grew up. And I looked in her brother's room and I saw his record collection. And there was an album cover sitting there, and it was literally calling my name. It was Rock and Roll Over by KISS. And
was it glowing?
It was, man. I could have sworn, I tell people all the time, I think there was smoke and fire coming out of it. It was like a KISS concert, but it was calling me, and I picked it up, and he walked in the room, and he like looked at me, and he said something like, I'll never forget it. He said, "That's pretty cool, isn't it?" He goes, "Steve, take that home. I think you'll enjoy it." I took it home. I put it on my little record player. I dropped the needle down. The beginning of I Want You starts going. I'm like, oh, this is nice. Yeah, like, kind of sounds like the Beatles or, and then all of a sudden, man, when the guitars kicked in, and then Paul Stanley, "I Want You," like my head exploded. Everything. It was like every scene in a movie, when remember in Back to the Future when Marty McFly plugged in his amp in front of that huge speaker, hit the A chord and got blown away. That was it, man. And that was the moment that just completely changed my life. And I listened to the rest of the record, Take Me, Calling Dr. Love. Dr. Love was one that, just completely hearing that and hearing Gene Simmons sing for the first time. And I still didn't even know who was who yet. And then later on, when I discovered that was Gene the Demon singing Dr. Love, it was everything. Like, this is crazy. It was everything that, either you were going to be scared shit of KISS or you were going to love it. And then I fell completely head over heels in love with those guys. And then a couple months later, every kid in my town was a KISS fanatic. And I remember walking home from school one day, and one of my neighbors goes, "Steve, come here, you got to check this band out." I went into his house, and he had an 8-track tape or the vinyl. I'm not quite sure what it was. It was an 8-track tape. And he put it on and played Running with the Devil. And I was like, he's like, "You got to hear this band, Van Halen." And I heard it. I was like, "Oh my God." And he goes, "You got to listen to this." And all of a sudden, boom, boom, Eruption. And it was like, again, it was that moment where I was like, "Oh my God, this is the most incredible guitar." And then when it gets to the end, the tapping part, I still remember just being so confused because I didn't know if it was a guitar, if it was a keyboard, if it was a violin.
Yeah.
If it was a video game. It sounded like otherworldly, which it still does to this day. Listen, no matter what, guitar has come a long way, but that is, to me, Eruption is still the be-all, end-all, and the greatest guitar solo. And again, so those two moments, Rock and Roll Over, KISS, and Van Halen won. And it was, I say it all the time, I sold my soul to rock and roll at that moment, and I'm still running with the devil.
There you go.